Konami have re-released Blitz Curlers. Are they nerfed? Well, I didn't really play the week they came out. I was too busy with college, so I can't comment from the first week, but they're definitely still a very good skill, Blitz Curler. It's very useful, particularly when you're struggling to break down your opponent's defense. So these cards are amazing, so definitely something to consider spinning for. I have Salah, but when I play against Son, he's a menace, and Chiesa has really good stats too. So we'll start off with my Salah build. And this guy is one of my favourite players to use in this game. Look at those stats. People always ask me, are the Blitz Curlers really good? And I always say, even if they didn't have the Blitz Curler skill, these cards are amazing. So definitely something I definitely recommend spinning for. You can see I've played 500 games. His goals to game ratio isn't the best, but that's mainly just because I play him kind of off the bench or rotation. But when he does score, it's important goals. He's got some of the best dribbling in the game. Not the best dribbling stats, but he just seems like one of the best dribblers in the game. Probably the high speed and acceleration are playing a part in that. This is the build I went for. You can see every stat is above 90. That is relevant, really. I guess except for offensive awareness, but I don't think you can really get that much higher. And it makes sense because you've already put 12 points in, and you're going to get capped out on acceleration and balance before you get that. Or at least acceleration before you can get it really high. So this is the build I recommend. Is there any other builds that you could possibly do? You could maybe take off a bit more of the finishing and put it into, let's say, dribbling to get the ball control to a bit higher. Oh, never mind, his boost is to ball control. So don't worry about that, actually. Yeah, I think it's the perfect build. Like, I don't really see any major changes. Maybe, would you want to get the speed higher? I don't think so. I think his speed is high enough and his kicking power is high enough. So really good. The skills I'd recommend. So these are the skills I put on. Scissors feint, soul control, acrobatic finishing, true passing, and pinpoint crossing. For the knock-on finesse, can you score them? Apparently you can. I've never scored a knock-on finesse with the Blitz Curler, but I've talked to a few of the kind of competitive players, and they scored them. And then I was commentating during the night for a tournament, and then I mentioned how I didn't score, and then someone went and scored a knock-on finesse Blitz Curler. So if you do want to do a knock-on finesse Blitz Curler, I believe you have to do it with a different shot power than normal. So you have to learn that shot power. So I can try figure it out over the next couple of days and let you know what it is. Other skills you could put on him. You could put flip-flap on him to kind of complement the soul control you're going to put on. If you were to put flip-flap on him, I would take off the scissors feint maybe, or maybe the pinpoint crossing. But I like having pinpoint crossing on my wingers that cut inside, just because if I do go outside, I like to hit the pass. But to be fair, I don't actually go outside with him as much as I probably should, so maybe take that pinpoint crossing on or off. The most important skill here, though, is acrobatic finishing. It makes him a different level, because your opponent knows you have a Blitz Curler. He knows you want to cut inside and shoot. So if you're going to try cutting inside and shoot, your defender's probably going to, or the defender's probably going to predict it. So you need to kind of do a drastic dribble, use a lot of pace to get free of the marker. So you're going to be off balance in that situation. So then if you put acrobatic finishing on when you're off balance, you'll be, the shots will be better. And then once I think I put acrobatic finishing on him last, or one of the last skills. But anyway, I used him for a good while without it, and then once I put it on him, he became a different player. So definitely very good. The position trainers, I would recommend training him AMF and centre forward. I think it's kind of obvious what you need to put him. I would rather centre forward before AMF, though. I just got AMF first, and he hasn't been as good as I thought he'd be at AMF. I don't know what it is. Maybe the passing stats aren't high enough or something, or maybe the inactive playstyle, but centre forward he'd be a lot better. So definitely a player I recommend, particularly if you're a Liverpool fan or you like Salah in real life. Even if you didn't have Blitz Curler, this is one of the best cards in the game. Now, if we take a look at your two, we'll probably start with the best player in the pack, and it's Son Heung-min. He is amazing because of that very high weak foot, and I can confirm, if you have the very high weak foot, you can do the Blitz Curler on both feet, so he can hit it with left and right, which is probably what makes Son the best, because the best way to defend against Blitz Curler is your opponent wants to cut in on that foot and hit it. So if Son has very high weak foot, you don't know which foot he's going to hit the Blitz Curler in. Obviously, if he starts out wide, you can't really hit a Blitz Curler if you're on the left with your left foot. But if he's playing centre forward, which is where I'd recommend playing this Son, that Blitz Curler becomes a nightmare. So if we look at a build, we level him up first, and then without the boosts, you can see that we've got pretty much all the relevant stats above 85, except for tight possession and balance. But then if we put the boost on, you can see that the kick and power gets to 99, so we probably don't need kick and power that high. We could take it off, we'll keep it for now. So I would probably not put the passing in. I've said it a few times, lofted pass doesn't seem like that valuable of a stat. Just the loft passes don't work as they should in this game, so I wouldn't put it on. You've got 95 finishing. That's the level where your player just becomes really consistent. I had a Michael Owen build where I had 92 finishing. He'd miss a few chances. Once I gave him 95, he became a lot more clinical. The speed and acceleration are the same level, but he's got 92 offensive awareness. So when we looked at Salah, Salah had better speed stats, but lower offensive awareness. So that'd be the kind of main difference between these two. So these last 3 points, if you put it into dribbling, you can't. You only got 3 points here. I wouldn't. Maybe if you take off passing and get more finishing, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think just get the 70 low pass. It'd be useful. So at this last point, there's not much you can do with it really. You could get the physical to 70, which might be useful, particularly because he's kind of a tall player and he's not that. He's a bit heavy, so he's kind of, you know, you might be using his strength a little bit while dribbling. But if you don't want to do that, probably just go into pace, get the 100 kick and power. And as someone who hasn't used this Son, that 100 kick and power might take his Blitz Curler to a new level. I'm not 100% sure, but it might. Do I notice that with any other player, kick and power? Yeah, I guess with Messi. But that Messi though has 103 kick and power. But his kick and power is a different level. So it might be a similar case with Son. He's got very good skills. He actually starts with acrobatic finishing, so you don't have to put that on, which is the most important for the Blitz Curlers. The skills I put on him, I'd put soul control on him. Again, it's actually not really for the knock-on finesse as someone who doesn't really score them. It's more for the double touch, and then I'd also put flip slap on him. The soul control will also be useful though for a knock-on power shot instead of a knock-on finesse. So if you're on the left wing, say, and you want to shoot, you don't want to dribble in, you can knock it onto your left foot and hit it across goal, and you might get a goal. Because those shots, I find, are actually pretty useful. So flip flap and soul control. Then you definitely need true passing on him just to make him a little bit more consistent. Probably a one-touch pass as well. And then the last skill, scissors feint could be good. Marseille turn, cut behind and turn. Pretty much, you know, you kind of got free reign for those skills. You got track back actually. I didn't notice that. It'd be good pressing the ball high at the pitch. Would put a fighting spirit on or a super sub. You know, basically that last skill I can't really give major recommendations just because I feel like he's got enough skills elsewhere. Maybe a pinpoint crossing if you're playing him out wide. But I would recommend playing Son in the middle, especially if you spin the pack and you get the other players first. You want one of them on the wing and then Son in the middle. So definitely that last skill there's a bit more freedom, so you can do whatever you want. Cut behind and turn might be useful again just because he's got the very high weak foot. You can put the Blitz Curler onto either foot. So definitely a very good player, sorry. Probably the strongest in the pack. But Chiesa is pretty good too. He doesn't look anything special at the moment, but when we level him up, he becomes very strong because he's also got the kick and power too. So we look at him without the boosts first. So he's got the ball control and tight possession to 85. Balance to 85, finishing the high level, so the boosts are on the finishing for all of them. Boost might be the same for every card actually, I'm not sure. Does this one have kick and power? Yeah, I think that might be the same for every card. So what build would I recommend? I'd probably stick with this build to be honest. I think there's an argument to be made that if you're playing Chiesa as the winger, you might not need as much speed, or maybe as much kick and power, sorry. So you could put more into the dribbling or the passing. Like, we could try get that dribbling to 85 on the tight possession to get the boost, and then you can see the dribbling stats become decent. But you can't get the tight possession to 90 for cheap. It's 14 points. It's too expensive, so I wouldn't worry about the dribbling too much. Just use him as a kind of pace and power player. You know, afford to take off that one shooting, probably afford to take off the passing too, and then go into the lower body or the acceleration if you're more concerned about the dribbling. And actually, yeah, I'd go with the acceleration just because it gets it to 95. It's a very nice number, nice threshold. You get the balance too, and then yeah, this card looks amazing. He's got 71 defensive engagements, so the reason that's useful is because if I show you his card in the game, he can play left mid and right mid. So if you're trying to hold on to a lead, this Chiesa becomes really good for doing that. And then with that defensive engagement, he also has track back and super sub. So track back obviously will help him press, and then super sub is if like you're switching formation and you want left mid and right mid to defend better. very good. So this card's amazing. He's got pinpoint crossing as well, so I would recommend playing him out wide, out of the tree. You know, you can play SS. That would only be playing SS out wide, not as a central SS. What skills does he need? Like the other ones, he needs acrobatic finishing. Probably the first skill I'd put on him. Then I'd put true passing on. Then probably what's it called, soul control and flip flap. Get the level 3 double touch. Other skills you could put on him: one touch pass, scissors feint. Especially if you're playing him out wide, I think scissors feint is good when you're one-on-one with a fullback and you have space. Because if you do a scissors feint in the middle, it can be useful. I do it often, but when you trigger the body feint and then release the ball, your exit dribble, if there's no more defenders there, you're going to run into them. So you want the kind of scissors feint and players that have plenty of space to, in a 1v1. So definitely a very good card. He actually, whenever I play against this Chiesa, he plays very well against me, because I always forget he's a Blitz Curler. So I see Chiesa on my opponent's team and don't think too much of it, and then he hits Blitz Curler out of nowhere. But definitely very good cards. I think, are they worth spinning for? Yeah, I think they're worth spinning for, especially if you like a Liverpool fan and you want Salah. These cards, like Son and Salah, are amazing cards without Blitz Curler. Chiesa's a good card without Blitz Curler, but they all have Blitz Curler, so definitely very good cards. The other players in the pack, Foden is in the Player of the Week, and the Player of the Week version is better. Can play more positions, it's a whole player, and more importantly, it's got more skills. But you can put skills on this Foden, but it's a big investment to do so. Dybala, decent player. I think I have this Dybala. He's a decent player, he's got good finesse shot animations, but I never use them myself. The other players aren't anything too noteworthy, but that's the video. I did a Player of the Week review a couple of moments ago, so that should be up on YouTube now if you want to check out the Player of the Week, because I haven't done a Player of the Week review in a while, but this Player of the Week is actually pretty good. So I'll let you know which players I think are worth spinning for. Yeah.